Welcome to Saved and Savings, where biblical principles and practical money strategies come together to help you honor God with your finances and manage money His way. I am your Chief Stewardship Officer, Lilius Folks John, and today we're diving into a lesson that might just change the way you think about your money. I'm actually recording live today from the Adobe Podcast Stage at FinCon in Portland, Oregon. And for those who don't know, FinCon is a conference and expo where all the money nerds across the country get together and unite. So let's go ahead and jump in. Have you ever thought, if only I made more money, then I'd finally get ahead? What if I told you you already have the money you need for now? It's usually already in your hands, and it's just a matter of finding it and just managing it well. So today I'm going to share a biblical principle about stewardship, a bold challenge that I took in my own life, and a tool that's going to help you start uncovering the money you already have. So today's lesson is going to come from Proverbs 21, verse 20. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but the fool gulps theirs down. God has already given you, if you're working, He's already given you provision. He's already given you access to money. And that already is a blessing. The issue is not always a lack of money, but it's often a lack of management, a lack of discipline, a lack of willpower. Am I speaking to anybody today? When we take the time to track, save, and steward our finances well, we often realize the abundance was already available. We just had to take authority of it and give it the proper direction that it needed. So let me give you a personal story. Some years ago, there was a savings challenge, and I'm sure by now all of you are familiar with it or have heard of it. It was the $1 a week savings challenge, and the idea was that you saved the amount of money based on the week we were in for the year. And at the end of the year, you would have saved $1,500. And the arrogant person I was before coming to Christ, I was like, this is so mediocre. Oh my gosh, $1,500. We should be able to save thousands. And I decided to be really bold and take a step and say, I'm going to save $1,000 a month. And I'm going to be honest, I did not know if I had $1,000 a month to save in my budget. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. So I put it out on Facebook, and a bunch of people were interested also in trying this very bold and audacious challenge with me. I had 12 people join. 6 actually made it to the end. And the first thing we had to do was go into our budgets and find the money. And for me, so I was already married at the time. I already had children. And I told my husband what I wanted to do. And we knew we wanted to buy a house. I knew I wanted to leave my full-time job and pursue entrepreneurship full-time. And we had to go and look and see what we could cut from our budget to find this money. And we did. We cut 3 things. One, we had a daughter who was in private school, kind of like private preschool, day school. And she was old enough to go to the local public school. So we took her out of school and put her in the public school and saved $750 a month. And so we were already 3/4 of the way there, but we decided this was kind of like easy and fun. Let's try it again. We lived in New York City at the time. We had 2 cars, and we're like, we can take the train. Like, why are we paying for gas insurance and maintenance on 2 vehicles. And one car we bought outright. We are those people, or I'll say I'm that person. I have purchased all my cars in cash since 1999 until 2020. And so we didn't have a car payment on one car. My husband is not me, so he does car payments. But we were able to, since one car was paid for, I just parked it up. I'm going to park it up and I'm going to take the insurance off and not have to pay for gas. And that saved us another $250 a month. We were fortunate in New York. We had really good driving records, so our insurance was pretty cheap. So it was just the cost of gas per month plus the insurance. Then this was a big one. We're like, we were living in an apartment. It was so nice, brand new when we moved there. I moved there first. So I moved there in 2007, right after I graduated from Columbia University with my master's degree in real estate development. I was living in a basement apartment in Brooklyn at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've got an Ivy League degree, y'all. I get to come up out the basement. I am going to move above ground to an apartment. And it was under construction when I toured it. And they didn't want to show it to me. And I was like, listen, I'm in real estate. I can see past construction. I'd like to see this apartment while it's still in progress. And I did. And I asked them, I said, can I put down my own floors? And they're like, well, yeah, sure. So it was hardwood in the halls and the living room and dining room. And in the kitchen, they had not put down any floors. And so I bought some pretty cheap marble tile, and I had them lay marble tile in the kitchen and in the bathroom. And it was great. So, but I was living there for a while. I lived there from 2007 to 2011. And they were hiking up the rent. I think when I first got it, it was $1,300, and they wanted to go to like $1,900 or $2,000 or something. And my husband and I were like, no, we're not doing that. So we were able, his parents owned a property, and they had a vacant apartment in the attic of their home. And we moved there to save money and not pay $2,000. And that was in 2011, or maybe it was like $1,800. I don't remember. So we moved there, and that actually dropped our rent payment to $800 in New York City in 2011. So we took the difference, which was like $500, and put it to save. And so now, instead of, my goal was to save $1,000 a month, but we ended up closer to $2,000 a month from the money we already had. There was not any additional side hustles. There wasn't additional income coming in. We didn't get second jobs. We didn't sell things on Etsy or Facebook Marketplace. Literally, we went through our own budget and found ways to cut our expenses to find $2,000 a month to save. And then we were able to do that. We saved that almost $2,000 a month for 3 years. 3 years. And ended up saving $97,000 cash. And I was able to make some really good decisions at a time in our lives when we were expecting in 2014. And unfortunately, we lost that baby. And it was like a wake-up call for me. I was so depressed. I didn't go to work for almost a month. And the first day I went back to work, I handed in my resignation. Because financially, I could. Right? And so that was a turning point for me. It made me realize, number one, you can make decisions based on your financial life. Like you can steward your life and your decisions based on how you manage your finances. If I had not ambitiously challenged myself for this $1,000 a month, at the time that I was facing personal tragedy and a heartache, I wouldn't have been able to make such a decision and leave. And so money gives you options. It gives you options and access to freedom and decisions that you wouldn't be able to make otherwise, right? So it was a turning point for me, and I was able to not work for 3 years. 3 years I stayed home with my family and my kids, and it made me realize, like, the time is now. I need to be able to focus on my children and what they need in life. And I did, and it was great. It was the best time of my life. And we were able to play games, and I was able to play airplane. We had picnics outside. I mean, we did a lot. Now, of course, the money was not abundant enough that we were able to do all the things. But it didn't matter. The quality of the time was what mattered. It was so good, even though we couldn't like travel or do, although we did do right after I stopped working. We took all our kids to Europe. We had 4 kids at the time, and we loaded them up on an airplane, and we took them to London and to France. So we were able to do one big major thing as a family because of my decisions. But it wasn't something we were able to do for the whole 3 years. Like, we weren't jet setting across the continental United States, the Caribbean, Europe, Africa. You know, that wasn't happening. But we were able to enjoy a lot of time. So just let's go back. This wasn't because of a raise. It wasn't because of the lottery. I don't play the lottery, so that was never going to happen. This was an opportunity I had from money that was already there. Unlocked because of stewardship and discipline. And I'll be honest with you, I was not a born-again believer yet. This was 2012. I didn't submit my life to Christ until 2013. But personal finance has always been in my mind, right? It's a gift. It's a natural gift and talent the Lord has given me. And it started from 2002 2002. So 1999, I blew $60,000 of an inheritance. 2002, I had $0 left, right? So I got it in 99. I was back to zero by 2022. And I was like, man, that was a mistake. How do I rebuild these dollars that I had? I got to learn about personal finance. And I just started consuming. I started reading everything that was out there about personal finance. I subscribed to magazines. I read books. And I fixed my financial life. I got my credit in order. I got my budget mastered. I've been using the same budget template since 2002. Like, I created it in 2002, and I've been using the same one ever since. And I have virtual tools now that I add into the mix, but I created something that I needed in order to financially fix my life. And I didn't start teaching personal finance or financial literacy to others until 2008, because I realized I had something that other people could benefit from. And if I was able to do it for myself, I could teach someone else. So that is my story, one of how I found money that I already had to do something that was really meaningful and important to me at a time I needed to make a change. And I don't know what your story is or what the thing is that you need to do, but we all need to build financial discipline, and we can start with what we already have, right? Let's go back to our verse. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but the fool gulps theirs down. Proverbs 21:20. Where do you need to be wise? What do you need to store up? Right? And it's going to be, it says choice food. and olive oil. And I don't know if you all know, but olive oil has different varieties. And the best olive oil is some of the most expensive. So, because it's the purest. And so, if you're storing up choice food and olive oil, you're being deliberate. I started saving when I was doing this $1,000 a month savings challenge. Like, that's my example of like choice food and olive oil in modern day times, right? I didn't put aside $25 or a dollar and just say it was my best that I could do, right? I went beyond the 1,000 and was able to get closer to 2,000, and I actually invested my money. So that's how I was able to build it all the way to 97,000. I invested it. I didn't just save it in the bank, which might not be something I would do today if I were doing that challenge again, but it worked for me at the time. All right, so let's get your takeaway. The money you need for your goals may already be sitting in your bank account or in your paycheck and just hidden in your spending habits. Stewardship means asking yourself, where can I redirect this dollar so that it serves my future instead of my life today, right? And biblical finance, the thing that I love about it is it teaches you all the things a traditional finance coach would teach you, but then it points back to how God gave us this instruction in his word and in the Bible. For example, the Bible tells you to budget, it tells you to save, it tells you to invest, it tells you to diversify your investments. It tells you to prepare for your future. It tells you to give and be generous, charitable to others. It says if you have 2 and someone else has 0, why don't you give 1? Right? So it has all the tools that we need to be good financial stewards of our life and of our finances and honor God at the same time. So ask yourself, where can I redirect this dollar? You just may be just one decision away from discovering a financial opening you didn't even think you had. And I know a lot of people have debt. I actually did not have any debt at the time that I was doing this. We had no debt from 2009 to 2023. We have debt now. I've shared that my husband lost his job in 2022, and we have accumulated some debt that I have diligently been paying down since 2024. And we're almost there to get rid of it. So how do you get started? How can you start to shift through your own financial? If you want a practical way to start, I've got a tool that you can use, and it's my bills and breakfast checklist. It will help you sit down, lay out all your income, all of your bills. We're going to start with praying before we even try to tackle any of our bills, and ask the Holy Spirit to guide you on creating a plan that works for you and honors God instead of against you and against God's will for your life. You can grab it at His Faithful Steward, and that's faithful with 2 L's, His Faithful Steward, STEWARD/checklist. And if you're looking for tools that make saving easier, I'm going to recommend that you consider a high yield savings account as the first place to drop your money. If you are looking for one, I've got a great one for you. American Express is the high yield savings account I use. Now, I'll be honest with you, they are not the highest APY, so meaning they're not giving you the highest interest rate in the nation as terms of high yield savings accounts, but I use them because I already have an American Express. I've been a customer of an American Express since 2005. I love the service that they give me and the relationships that they provide. So I stick with them for my high yield savings, even though they're a little bit lower on the interest rate. I don't want to go to another high yield savings account and they disappear in 2 years and I've got to change my money anyway. So my link for that is also, you can do His Faithful Steward, faithful with 2 L's, STEWARD /high yield. All right. So remember, you may already have the money you need. You just have to steward it well. And in this podcast, we're going to continue to talk about how you can do that. Different ways that I've learned to steward my money well. And I'm even going to share with you ways that I have failed at stewarding well. I want to be transparent with the fact that even though I'm a finance coach and I've been in the finance space for 16 years, life comes along and life's me too. And it's not always roses and gumdrops. It's not always phenomenal opportunities, because wealth, and we'll talk about this another day, but it's not always about building the most. It's about doing well in terms of I can cover everything I need and being content with that. So I'm not an accumulation person. I've set myself up for retirement. I'm definitely doing what I need to do there, but life comes along and I've got 6 children. So there are times where we're doing really well. And there are times where we're like, hey guys, we're not going out for a month, and that just is what it is. So just start today. Start today with what God has already given you. Be thankful for it. Even if you feel like it's not enough, be thankful and steward it well, because he tells us in his word, if we are diligent with little, he will entrust us with much. We have to demonstrate that we can be good with the small things before he blesses us with more anyway. Even if you feel like what you have today is not enough, show him that you can manage it well so that he can give you the opportunity for more. Don't forget, before I close, download the free Bills and Breakfast checklist at His Faithful Steward with faithful with 2 L's .com/checklist. The link is also in the show notes. So until next time, keep saving, keep stewarding, and keep trusting God with your money. This is the inaugural episode of Saved and Savings, where we honor God with every dollar. Thank you.